get into the topic 10 principles of economics. So in this chapter, you will be like trying to understand what kind of questions does economics address, and what are the principles of how people make decisions in their life, both in personal as well as in professional life. What are the principles of how people interact, and what are the principles of how economy as a whole works? Okay, these are the four things that we'll be like discussing in our session today. Okay, so what is economics? Why you have to study economics? Let's see that. Okay, scarcity is actually is present everywhere. When you say scarcity, it's actually availability of limited resources. It can be any resources. It can be availability of employees or gold or coal, whatever it is. Okay, so if any natural resource or any resource, man-made resource is kind of available, you can call that as scarce. Economy is a study of how the society manage the scarce resources. Okay, it can be anything, as I mentioned. It can be men, material, or money. Okay, any of the three M's. Okay, this usually men, material, money are considered as three M's in business. So it can be any M. Okay, and any other resource as well. So economics is the study of how the society or people or businesses or countries manages its scarce resources. For example, how people decide what product they have to buy, how much they have to work in their lifetime, how much money they have to save, and how much money they have to spend. We really don't know. Okay, if your students, I think I can really understand. You will not be like working on how much money to save and spend, but still, the grown-ups, the adults have to deal with this kind of decisions every day in their life. Okay, so when it comes to business, firms has to decide how many products they have to produce, how many employees they have to hire, all these things. And as a society, we have to really understand how, I mean, the when I say society here, the governments. So how we have to work on the defense mechanisms. I mean, how much money we have to allocate for army and navy, and how much resources, I mean, men have we have to recruit for army or navy, and how we can like work on the government policies, all these things. How are we going to like protect our climate change? All these things actually is decided based on the principles of economics. Okay, so we'll be looking onto the first four principles. Okay, so this four principles comes under the topic, the principles of how people make decisions. Okay, so actually everybody takes decisions in their lifetime. It can be anyone, it can be a student or it can be a kid. Yes, he has to make a decision what kind of candies he wants to eat, right? So from a CEO to a founder of a company to the president of US, and to a until a kid, everybody has to take a decisions in their life. Okay, so actually, even a homemaker in a household, they have to take decisions. Actually, it's actually very important decisions they have to take, like what they have to cook, and what kind of food they want to feed their babies, and how to dress, and what kind of schools they have to send their kids to, or, where they have to buy their house, all these things. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, so first one is people face trade-offs. Okay, there is a saying like that, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. So you have always have to have a trade-off in your life. Every decision has a trade-off. For example, you want to go to a party. Imagine you want to go to a party before your midterm exams. And what do? You have to either choose whether to go for a party or a study for the midterm exam. If you go to the party, you'll be scoring less because you have less time to study. If you like miss the party, you'll be scoring. You have a probability of scoring more marks in your midterm, but still, you might miss a chance of getting new acquaintances. You miss a chance of making more friends, right? Even a student has to make this. So, and every adult has goes through this. I mean, they have to decide, okay, how much money they have to make. So, can I like make more money by working long hours and have less time for leisure, or I can do otherwise. I'll just like have more time for leisure and work less hours, and then just be a lazy guy. Okay, nothing is wrong. It depends on the people's decision, what they want to trade off. Okay, or the governments have to decide whether they have to protect the environment, or they have to establish more factories. even Indian government right now is facing this kind of scenarios that they are making more policies on based on this. Actually, this is the right time to identify what as a country or as a people that we want for a country. Whether we want more companies, more industries, so that we can make more money and have a good growth and good GDP, or we just want to preserve nature. We have to take a stand, right? So always people have to face trade-offs in their life. Society, I mean, societies, the companies, the environments, everybody face a trade-off between efficiency and equality. So when you say efficiency, achieving your objective with minimum resources, with less resources, is called as efficiency. For example, if I have to commute between Chennai and Coimbatore, I can even I can go by car, I can go by through bus, I can go by flight, right? I mean, I'm talking about the normal conditions. So to save money, what would I do? I would try to go by train, or if I have to save time, I have to go by flights, right? So to take a good trade off, what would I do? I might go through a bus or a train or by car. Okay, it depends on the need. Okay, so efficiency. So when society gets most from its scarce resources, with less resources, if they get able to achieve the objective, get the most, that is efficiency. Equality is when the prosperity is distributed uniformly, right? When everybody has equal wealth. I mean, in a communist nation, okay, there's a lot of communist countries like we had Russia, and China was communist, I guess, earlier. I'm not sure. So they have the prosperity distributed evenly throughout its people. Okay, so if that happens, just imagine what will happen. So even if you're working hard and and you have to get earn more money, but still, if we are a communist nation, what will happen? We will not earn more money in spite of the hard work we do. Okay, the government will take it, but the people who are lazy at home and just chilling and then watching Netflix or Prime, and they'll be like paid money out of your pockets. This is not fair, right? So so we have to really, as a society, have to find out the trade-off between efficiency or equality. Okay, whether we have to be communist nation or a capitalist nation. Okay, so communist nation go for equality, whereas capitalist nations go for efficiency. The second principle is the cost of something is what you give up to get it. Okay, so you always have to give up something to get it. So first we saw just we have to make a decision, right? So when you make a decision, you have to make a trade-off. That's your first principle. Second principle is you're evaluating the cost of what you are giving up, what you're letting it go. Okay, so for example, imagine you're studying in a college right now. Okay, so instead of like studying a 5 years course, you could have like went for a direct job after grade 12. It could have happened, right? So which means you are imagine you will be like earning some money as well. So, but here you're spending money, right? So it's not about what you give up. You're paying, for example, you're paying 1 lakh per annum for studying this. So you're paying 5 lakhs per annum for studying this. So it's not about just you're investing 5 lakhs. It's also about you are like sacrificing the money that you could have earned after going for a job after your 12th grade, right? So that is opportunity cost. So that's what we're going to discuss here. So making decisions requires comparing cost and the benefits of your alternative choice. So here you have grade 12 is your going for work after grade 12 is your alternative choice, and coming to this 5-year course is your the first choice. Okay, so you're comparing the cost of it. So this is called opportunity cost. Okay, its opportunity cost is nothing but whatever that you are giving up to obtain this. So whatever that you have earned, you could have earned by going for a job after grade 12 is your opportunity cost. You sacrificed your opportunity cost in addition to paying your fees, right? So that is your opportunity cost. You have to really consider that for decision making. It's not only about the fees that you have paid for the course. Okay, the same examples, going for a college for a year is not just a tuition, books and fees and accommodation you pay, but also the foregone wages. If you're going for a movie, it's not about the price of the ticket, it's also about the time that you're spending in the theater. Okay, if you're doing something else, could have been working, you could have like paid more. If you're studying, your grades could have improved, all these things. Okay, third principle here, this makes a difference. Rational people think at the margin. Okay, so imagine you could have right now thought, okay, instead of studying this course, I could have like went for work, I could have earned money right now. Even if I like kind of earn 2 lakhs per annum, so for 5 years I could have got 10 lakhs, and I've invested 5 lakhs here, so 15 lakhs I could have gained. If you thought that, things might go wrong, because at the end of this 5 years you might get placed in a company where you will be earning more than this. You'll not be earning 2 lakhs per annum, you might be earning 6 lakhs per annum or 10 lakhs per annum, right? Depends. So if you're rational people, you think on the marginal cost. Okay, so systematically and purposefully they do the best. Okay, these rational people, they always want to achieve their objectives by doing things systematically and purposefully. Okay, they always evaluate cost and benefits of this marginal changes. Okay, this incremental adjustments. Okay, so and even if you will be like growing in the field, but what growth would you expect after, if you go for a job after grade 12? I'm talking about the majority of the students who are doing this, right? The same example that I've added here. Okay, the third principle is about how rational people think on the marginal cost. Another example here, if a manager considers whether to increase an output, she has to consider whether they have to, how much they have to pay more for the men and material. Imagine I'm just manufacturing 100 soaps per day, and I want to like manufacture 200 soaps so that I can double my profits. But for that, you have to invest the money. You have to like buy the machinery for that. You have to hire more people. You have to have more space. You have to build a factory again, maybe for that, right? So that is your that principle 3. Principle 4 is people respond to incentives. Incentives, I think you all know what is incentive. It's actually induces a person to get a reward or a punishment. Okay, so here rational people, they respond to incentives. For example, so when the price of gas increasing, I mean in terms of Indian context, when the petrol prices or a diesel price increases, we tend to buy hybrid cars, and we will not be going for SUVs. I mean, when usually the good example is when the price of diesel is increasing, we would go for petrol cars. When the price of petrol is increasing, we go for diesel cars. We do this. This is a common Indian mindset, right? And even so, in that case, you might, if gas price is increasing, we will not be going for cars which consume more gas, right? We'll be like going for good cars which can give good mileage. Okay, and very good example is that when your cigarette price or a tax increases, the teenagers who smoking cigarettes, the number of teenagers smoking cigarettes will decrease because they can't afford it. So the chance of having money among teenagers is less when compared to the adults. Okay, so the fourth principle is how people respond to incentives. Okay, it can be either reward or a punishment. So reward here actually when talking about negative things, and the here the rewards, when you say when you like give incentives, when you give hikes for an employee who's working good, he will be happy, and then he'll be like working more so that he can he'll get motivated and he'll be working well so that he can able to get more incentives again. Okay, the next one is the principles of how people interact. Okay, so trade can make everyone better off. So a few years before India, during 1980s, until 1980s and 1990s, we were trying to be self-sustained nation. Okay, so we signed the globalization policy in 1990. Dr. Manmohan Singh was the then finance minister of India at that time, and he signed the globalization policy. Because of that, a lot of MNCs started operating in India. Okay, there a lot of MNCs were able to manufacture here. They can able to set up their IT support here, and then people were able to like recruit people from here. All this happened because of that. So if you're thinking, okay, we should be a self-sustained nation, we could have not been progressed as what we are right now. Yes, so we have like a lot of policies like Make in India, Atmanirbhar and all, but still, only because of globalization, all the youths of India who grew up after 80s and 90s were able to get a good job compared to the youth in 60s, 70s, right? So here, trade can make everyone better off. Okay, so rather being self-sufficient, people have to specialize in making in one product or a service and exchange it for the rest, so that you can get the other product in a lesser price. So you can, if you see China, they manufacture a lot of products there at a very reasonable cost when compared to the products that we make in India. So they make a lot of products at a low cost and they export it here. Even we buy after paying customs duty, the cost of the product looks lesser, is comparatively lesser than the product which is made in India, and it has kind of good quality as well, right? So we have to, I'm not saying that we have to buy Chinese products. It depends on government policies and procedures and the beliefs that we have. I'm not talking about China, it can be any country. Okay, so I'm not talking about that Vivo should be or Vivo and Oppo, they should be sponsoring IPL. It's not that. Okay, so it's about like not trying to be self-sufficient nation, and then we have to like accept what we are good at, and we have to work on that, and what we're not good at we have to outsource it. That's what all the Americans right now doing, American companies are doing right now. So they have their IT factories, I mean IT and support ITES offices in India. Most of the times, all the US companies have their ITES and IT support in India, Philippines, mostly, or Indonesia. Okay. Principle 6. Markets are usually a good way to organize economic activity. Okay. So when you say market is nothing but a place where buyers and sellers meet. Okay, it cannot be a single location. So Flipkart, Amazon, they are markets. It's not even a location right now, right? So in the olden days, markets can be at any place. Even one city will have two or three markets. Okay, in early days it was like that, but right now there's a shift in technology, and there's a shift in how people shop. Things have completely changed, and COVID-19 has a greater impact on this, right? Even at least earlier people had a luxury of going to shops, at least to department stores, and then buy the groceries and vegetables. But right now, even COVID-19 the rate of people who's going to stores to buy the groceries and vegetables has decreased nowadays, because when you just order in your favorite app, it gets home delivered, right? So markets help you to organize your economic activity. So it's a you in a market you tend to know what are the products are kind of required, what are the customer needs. You understand that in the market, because this is where me as a company will meet my buyers, my consumers. So I understand what kind of products that I should be producing and how to produce them, and how much I have to produce. So if my demand is 100, for example, I live in a city where I have only 100 people. Okay, and I have to manufacture at least 100 soaps per week. I can't manufacture more than that, and I can't manufacture less than that if I'm the only company in that soap manufacturing company in that city. So if you know this, by understanding your consumer, by meeting them in the marketplace, you will get to know this, and you have to understand who gets your product. All these things will be understood only through the market. Okay, market economy. This allocates the resources through decentralized decisions of many households. So people sometimes like don't understand the importance of households in India, in the economy. So what is actually a country, or what is an economy? It's nothing but a collection of thousands and hundreds and millions of households together. They all, when you say economy, most of the time people think about only the firms, the companies that the country has, or the economy has. It's not only about the country. So country or company, because who makes this country? Only the households. They are the people who are consumers of it. Okay. So you take a refrigerator. Okay, who consumes that? Families. Yes, there are a lot of industries that you use it, but still, what these industries make, the industries who are using refrigerators, what they really make. Who uses the refrigerators? The companies, maybe they to store there. The hotels use it. Okay, right now, who buys food from the hotel? People. Right now, households. I mean, earlier people were like going and dining in there. The households, people who live in the houses, they go and dine. So whatever product that anybody makes, it comes to a common household finally. It can be a refrigerator. So imagine the Siemens. Siemens is making a lot of tools to design your electronics. It is actually into research, right? So what happens in there? So whatever products that anyone is making, finally, even though it is B2B, the final product will reach the end user as a man or a woman or a kid in the household. Okay. So this principle is kind of like quoted by Adam Smith in his book Wealth of Nations. Okay, so it says each of the households and firms act as if led by an invisible hand to promote the general economic well-being. These firms, as well as the households, they together contribute to the economic well-being. Okay, okay. So this market determines the price. Okay, so how much I can like sell, how much I can sell, how many products that I can sell at what price and everything. So this each price reflects the goods value. Okay, so it's not about if there is people who can buy soap for 100 rupees, and then which means I have to sell soap for 100 rupees only. So which means I have to reduce my cost for soap production of soap for 80 rupees. So I have to produce my soap at 80 rupees so that I can sell at 100 rupees. So I can get 20 rupees margin as a profit. Okay, in olden days, a long ago, at least 200 years back, what companies were doing, they were just manufacturing the products according to the production cost. They were selling it with them. They were adding their profits and they were selling it to the people. So they were in the production orientation earlier, but right now things have completely changed. It's about the consumer right now. So they understand how much the consumer is willing to pay for that particular product they are going to make. So accordingly, they plan their cost, they plan their production. Okay, things have had a complete shift. This is majorly because of the competition they are facing right now. Next one is governments. Governments can sometimes make improve market outcomes. Yes. So what is the role of governments? Okay, so here they have to like enforce law and make property rights, and then they have to like take care of the codes by enacting policies and laws. Okay, so when people are less inclined towards work and producing and investing and making purchase, what will happen? There will be a lot of theft. Okay, so to solve this problem, the market is like trying to create a balance between the production as well as the economy. Okay, so how can we do this is we have to promote equity. If the market distribution of economic well-being is not desirable, so you have to have a tax and welfare policies. Okay, so during this really happens during the difficult times. So we'll be having a stable market or a economy always, but when some things go wrong. So even right now, the few industries are facing a downfall. At this time, what the government can do, they can try to promote equity by giving some subsidies, by giving some tax reduction, and by giving some welfare policies, everything, so that the affected people in that of a company, or the employees, or the businesses who are affected, can be able to thrive well after the depression or economic depression, or any other calamity. Okay. So now the next final principle is based on how the economy as a whole works. Okay. So here, the country's standard of living depends on its ability to produce goods and services. So if a country is producing good goods, more goods with quality, the country's standard of living will improve because the productivity is high. How the productivity will improve? If they have good technology, if they have organized skilled labor, they will be able to produce good products with good quality, so that they can sell more. If they sell more, the the companies will get more profits, so the employees will be get paid, so that the employees family will be doing good, which means the standard of living of the people as a whole increases. So when we have more products with good technology and sophistication, your country is doing good. Okay. And because of this, the average incomes of the countries will increase. So when you see in the rich countries, the average income is kind of 10 times higher than the average income of the poor countries. Why is it happening? Okay, so which means the countries who are doing good has a good standard of living. Okay, so you can say, okay, I'm a middle class in a developing country in Africa. You can say I'm a middle class family in US, but the sophistication of the middle class family in US will not be compared to the sophistication of a middle class family in Africa, right? I think you are able to understand this. Okay, it can be happening. You can compare the same thing in the past. So you take how the middle class families in India are doing right now, and you can compare the same thing in the 80s or 60s, how the middle class families were doing. Okay, what are the facilities that we have? Okay, so in the olden days, maybe at least 20-30 years back, having a refrigerator in a home is considered as a luxury, but right now that becomes a necessity. Every household, people who are in lower class has a refrigerator in their home, right? Exchanges. Okay, so here productivity is a major determinant of all these living standards. It's nothing but the number of goods that you produce per unit of labor. Okay, so you can't just ask one person to produce 10 shirts if he's but his usual productivity is 3. You are not like kind of going to beat him and make him to produce more goods. It's not that. It's about the equipments you give. It's about the skills improvement classes training that you provide to him, and the technology that you're giving. Everything matters. Okay. Okay, and sometimes yes, competition and labor unions also play a factors in this. And then prices rise when the governments print too much money. Yes, this is going to be a major fake factor. So sometimes to make the economy thrive, what the government do is they want to increase the cash flow. Because of that, they'll just print too much of money, and because of this, the prices starts increasing fakely, and then the value of money starts decreasing, which means the inflation goes up, and finally you'll end up paying more for the same product, because the employees going to get paid, and your cost when your what do you say when your household items prices will increase. Okay, right now we can just check. Zimbabwe is having a hyperinflation rate right now. You can see their currencies going in millions. You have a currency saying, okay, 1 million. I'm not sure about the currency of Zimbabwe. It's dollar, I guess. $1 million. You have currencies like that. Okay, because the government prints too much of money. Because of this, the inflation rate increases. Okay, so usually inflation is caused by
Ma'am,
the, yeah.
Ma'am, next lab period is deep learning, ma'am, and teacher from deep learning is intimating that they were waiting for us, ma'am.
Okay, this is my last slide. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, the last principle, 10, is society faces a short run trade off between inflation and unemployment. So, always there is a trade off between inflation and unemployment. So, when the inflation increases, unemployment decreases. I mean, it only happens for a short period of time. After that, there will be very big trade off. Okay. So, but over a period of time, things change. But when the inflation increases, the unemployment decreases. Okay, so that's all I have for today. You got any questions on the 10 principles of management? Sorry, 10 principles of economics?